Good morning, everyone. I just finished teaching and I just had something on my mind. Yesterday, there was some people talking about MBTI in the XGW community, and I typed a woman as an ISTJ because she was very confused. And it's interesting now that I'm piecing things together as what of the four temperaments of what the main reasons why those people leave of each thing. And so I'm kind of piecing it together right now, and my theory on this, where the SJs, they're systematic and they're affiliative, and so you look at SJs and why they get offended by Jehovah's Witnesses in general is because the system in place is they're harming the community, and there's a sense of righteous indignation because it's not correct, it's not moral, it's not ethical to do, and so they see a system that's not loving, they see a system that's immoral, and they see a system that's not following the ethics of what the community should follow. Either they discriminate against women, or they discriminate against homosexuals, or they discriminate against whoever. There's a lot of racism too in different things. And so then you have the SPs, who are interest-based pragmatic. Now, from what I've observed so far, SPs are most likely going to leave earlier ages. Now, NTs can be in there too, but I've noticed a lot of the SPs seem to leave around 18. Like Telltale is an ISFP, and he left at like 18. He says he's got this fellowship, things like that, and they seem to get out of there in their 20s. Most of my band, they're all SPs, and I was the only one that stayed in the cult. I went back, and the four of them, just stayed, in the world. And the reason why is because interest-based SPs, they see their freedom being infringed, and they see themselves being boxed in and controlled, and there's nothing in it for them. And then when they leave, they get infuriated, such like as Diaz's, who gets upset because it's not a win-win situation. And then you have these people in New York screwing over everybody, and only they are winning. And so that interest base is really pissing them off. And so that's how the SPs seem to be reacting. Now the NTs, that's my temperament. We're systematic and pragmatic. Now, granted, we're all about the system, and we're all about freedom and pragmatic. But we will give up our pragmatism if it's true. Okay? And so I knew the system was corrupt. I knew the system was unethical. I knew the system was immoral, but I did not care because I thought it was true. So those were things I can put up with. I mean, I was always aware of a pedophilia problem. I was warned about it daily when I was in the Spanish congregation, you know, uh, and things like that. So I didn't really care about all those ethical and immoral things, because if it was true and it was all going to get wiped away and we weren't going to remember it anyways, it didn't matter. So this life did not matter to me. And so I'm seeing that with the NTs I'm speaking with. Now, NTJs are not SI users such as ENTPs or INTPs. And so they pretty much took off right away too. But the loyalty from an SI user will keep you kind of in like I was. I stayed in and I stayed loyal to it just in case it was true. And then once I found out it was not true, I moved on, and it was just over with. Now the NFs, now these are typically your social justice warriors anyways, and these people are ones that have huge future admirations for positive change and things like that. And so why they would leave, they're affiliative and they're interest based, and so they would see a screw job. Um, that's not a win-win situation, and they would also see immoral and unethical practices that really bother them. They didn't really necessarily give two damns about the system in place because that's not really their point. Their point with their focus in life is it a win-win situation, and is it ethical and is it moral? Okay, the system's irrelevant, and so they would have no problem scrapping the system and just having something ethical, having something moral. But obviously that's not going to happen because the system is in place and it's not moving. And so they would see that the future they can't change it. There's no way they're going to disrupt the system, or there's no reason to because there's nothing in it for them. And so that's my thoughts on the four temperaments and how they see it. And now that I've met so many different XJWs and I see how they leave, I can now piece things together in different temperaments like that. And so if anybody's ever confused about their type, what their temperament is, based on the interaction styles, that's one way to look at it if you are an XJW in those different ways.